What if this whole time, all you've been missing was a different perspective? You don't need any more advice. You need clarity. I'm Megan Mason, and this is Clarity Calls. Today, I am chatting with an inspiring soul, Janie Macmillan. Janie is an Akashic Records expert. She has taught about the records for the past 15 years. She's also an author and a speaker, inspiring everyone she reaches through her work. I learned about Janie through another guest I had on the podcast, Gail, who I had on previously. She came across a piece of Janie's work and was like, I have to read this. Like, I feel very called to share this with your audience. And so she did. And after I heard that poem, it was all about divine timing. I was like, I have to ask her to come on my podcast. We have to hear what she has to say. And I already know that this is all divine timing, just like the poem said. So, Janie, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me today. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Megan. I can't thank you enough for this opportunity. This is one of my favorite things to do is to talk about the records. I have been working with them since 2011. And the one thing that I've really noticed is, and that's not that long compared to humanity and the records, right? My little 15 years is nothing. But there's been a change in that 15 years. Not, I don't know if it's my change, my understanding of the records, or if things are actually changing. I think it's more things are changing on Earth.
It
So
feels like a shift.
yes,
For sure.
exactly. So think about back in the olden days when the records were first kind of discovered by humanity. They were thought of as scrolls because that is the only way people understood how information could be kept. So the records were considered scrolls. Well, then when books got invented, then the Akashic Records became a library. That's where all the information for your souls. And I guess we should talk about the definition of the records. I'll do that in a minute. But
Yeah.
the now most people think of the Akashic Records as a library or books. And I think that's really interesting because I have never felt like I was accessing a book. For
Hmm.
me, it's been just knowing information, okay?
Okay.
So I push back a little bit when people say, oh, it's the library of your soul's understanding. And I say, well, is it? Because the way that they explained it to me is you, Janie, can think of us as a database because
Hmm.
that's faster, it's bigger than a
Mm.
library.
Yeah.
And it's not that the records have changed, it's humanity's ability to understand them. If in 1920 someone was told that the Akashic Records were a database, they wouldn't know what that is. So,
Exactly.
they have to explain themselves in ways that our human minds can understand. So, let's talk about what the Akashic Records are, because that's the first question I get when people don't understand them. So,
Yeah.
think about this is, and now all of this that I'm sharing, this is the way the records have explained themselves to me. I'm not contradicting anybody else. If you want to think that they're a library, just know that they're a loving library, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, the way I understand them, and most of this information that I got that I'm teaching now, I just have to be a shameless plugger, but this is really
Girl,
important.
do it.
I channeled this book called, it's directly from the records. The records wanted to speak, and it's called Yes, There Is More to Life. So this is the records dictating to me, if you want to call it that. We want to share this information with humanity. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm getting the information that I'm sharing here when I channeled that information from the records. So the way they explained it to me is we are all, our souls are sparks or bits of the divine. We are the same energy as the divine, which is the highest possible frequency, right? So
Yeah.
we separated, we individuated from source as these sparks of source. That's what our souls are. And
Yeah.
so the way I think of it, and again, this is Janie's interpretation, I like to think that the source said, okay, if you're going to go out and play, I'm going to create this energy field that has all this information in it for you for two reasons. First of all, if the source, can put all the information that your soul needs through all of its incarnations. So it'll keep track of everything your soul's been through, everything it's going through now, and everything that's a possibility for it. This is going to support you so that you're not out
Mhm.
there just because we forget every lifetime, a lot of times, what has happened. So this is
Yeah.
this source where we can go back and look at this information. And then the other purpose for this energy field called the Akashic Records is a way to feel reconnected with Source again, because that's where we came from.
Yeah.
So that's how we connect to the records, is to connect back in with Source, which for most people feels like phoning home. I like to think ET phone home, when we connect with Source, our soul just is so happy. It's just like, oh, yes, that's where we came from. That feels
Yeah.
good. Because
Yeah.
down here on Earth, I say down here, we are in this very dense, very heavy energy. And that's not easy for our souls to deal with. And that's why we have to have these bodies, the vessel that carries our soul. So imagine our souls slogging around down here in Earth, having to deal with time, which is only happening on Earth. That's the only place where time is real. Things are not
Yeah.
linear. And so when it gets a chance to reconnect to that high frequency energy, you can imagine how good that feels.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so that's another purpose for the records, is another way for our souls to reconnect with divine. So the way the records would love us to use them is to connect back in with that information, because my mentor, I'm going to paraphrase the way she says it. She says, connecting with the records is like sitting down for tea with a dear old friend who knows you better than you know yourself, because they've been through all your incarnations with you.
Yeah.
So they know you, not just the version of Janie that I am now. And so they can make suggestions of, have you thought about it this way? Or maybe you should try and do this. So that's what they are, a source of this information, that with the purpose to make our lives the best they can be.
Yeah.
That's what the records are saying, is, you guys, you're missing the point here. You're making this
Mhm.
hard. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Sorry
So
to
how
interrupt
would
you.
you, sorry to interrupt. I just curious to the audience that's listening, how would you kind of relate the records to, like, we have guides, we have like our higher selves. Like, how does it all correlate, and how do we know who we're talking to or where this
Yep.
information is coming
Yep.
from, you know?
Yes. Well, yes. And that's a terrific question, because that is one of the things the records do address in the book. They talk about guides, and they share that we all have a multitude of guides. That's the way they want to put
Mhm.
it. I
Yeah.
sometimes laugh because people will say, what are the names of my guides? And the records will say, honey, we can't name them. You have
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah.
So they've shared that we have angels, we have ancestors, we have past loved ones, but
Mhm.
we also have off planet beings. We have ascended masters. We have every form of guide that you can imagine. And so instead of worrying about who they are and what they are, the records suggest just make sure you're asking them for help.
Yeah.
So we're all surrounded by all of these guides that are trying to help us, but they can't until we ask for help, because they will not move us like pieces on a chessboard. That's the way
Yeah.
the record said it. We have to ask for help, and then they'll swoop in and give us information, either help us or present an opportunity for us to react to. But they will never make us do anything. Just like the records, I want to be very clear. That's the difference with the records, is they completely honor our free will. So
Yes.
even if you get some information from the records, they may suggest you might want to think about this or have you thought about that. You can just ignore it, go about your life, and that's fine. It's your choice. They
Yes.
truly honor free will. And that's why they never predict. So what the records will do is say there's a high possibility that this could happen. But
Yes.
again, the example that they use is, what if someone is born with this amazing voice, singing voice, and they don't want to be a singer? They have
Yeah.
this gift, it's their choice. They don't have to be a singer, even though they have this amazing voice that many people would love to have.
Yeah.
So it's all free will. So when it comes to guides and working with guides and other beings, I'm going to say, or other, some people channel entities, right?
Yeah.
That they get information from. It's about noticing the difference in the energy. So
Mhm.
I actually, when I connect to my records or the records of someone else, I can just tell the difference. I can't explain it. I can tell
Yeah.
the difference between the records and guides that sometimes also come through. For me, the records feel, the energy feels higher and
Mhm.
more broad,
Okay.
where a guide's energy is a little more focused and
Mhm.
not quite as high. I'll never forget when a student asked me that, how I can tell the difference. And I thought, I don't know how. And then I started paying attention, and it's just the energy feels different.
Yes.
So it's the same thing when I had to learn how to connect to my records first. Then I could learn to connect to the records of others, because I had to have that communication, that understanding really well ingrained, so that
Hmm.
I could tell the difference between my records and the person's records, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's why we have people connect to their own first. Yeah,
So can anybody do this? And is it
absolutely.
as simply as setting the intention, like just kind of putting that attention, like I want my records to come through and then kind of waiting to see?
Absolutely. Yes. So that's the other thing that the records are very clear about. The records, and that's, I think I was kind of getting back to in the beginning too. We used to think that the records were only for holy people and sages and, someone who was divinely allowed to
Yeah.
connect with the records. And maybe it was like that
Yeah.
back then, but now it is not at all. The records are helping us connect to them more easily.
Hmm.
So I don't want to say that they're shifting their energy, but as our energy on earth continues to rise, our vibrations getting higher, it's
Hmm.
easier for us to connect to them, because our our vibrations getting closer to what their vibration is. The trick to this, though, it's not a trick, is our
Okay.
soul is the same vibration as the divine. So we
Okay.
always have that vibration within us.
Yes.
That's why everyone can connect to the divine and everyone can connect to their records, because of our soul. The
Hmm.
problem, the issue that gets in the way, is our human mind.
Yeah.
And our human mind saying, really? Is this real? I'm just making that up. When I teach people to connect to their records, the first thing that you have to get around is their human mind saying, this is too easy. This can't be real. So when you take a class to connect to the records, it's not that you really need the class itself. The
Hmm.
class teaches you to trust it,
Yes.
to know that you can do that. And that's why I just call myself a big cheerleader and just keep, I tell my students, you're doing this. This is
Yeah.
real. You
Yeah.
have to, that's what the hardest part is just trusting it.
It's so true. Like I've been in a lot of practice circles of different things, and I could like see these people's potential, or like they doubt what they pulled through, and you're just like, no, no,
Yes.
you did it. You did it. You
Yes.
just have to believe it. Stop using
Yes.
these words like I think or maybe or
Yes.
is it like
Yes.
it really is just like giving them like that boost of confidence of like
Yes.
no, that really is what you're doing.
Yes, yes. And my favorite is when someone says, that was too simple. I mean,
Yeah.
or I kind of knew that already. And it's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you did, but you just didn't trust it. So
Yeah.
it's the same
Yeah.
thing with our guides. The way that I have found that helps people learn to trust it
Hmm.
is when they get some sort of information, whatever that is, perhaps you might want to look for a new job since you're miserable, right? They're
Yeah.
not going to tell you go get a new job, but you keep complaining about your job. You're not happy. You don't like what you're doing. It's not satisfying you. It's not fulfilling you. Hello, red flag. So
Yeah.
they suggest you might want to start looking for another job. Well, that person on a human level kind of knows that because they're so miserable,
Yeah.
but that would be too simple. That's they want it to be profound of God
Oh
coming
yeah.
in and saying, please, and it's like, that's not how it works. So I say, all right. So if you get the information from either someone working with you in the records or anybody, Reiki, it could be anything. They give you some bit of information. How does it feel? It's all about how it feels. So
Yeah.
if someone suggests that you do something and it doesn't feel good,
Don't do
probably
it.
not. Yeah, probably not the information for you. But if you take it in your heart and it's not, people will say, but what about this? But what about that? That's the brain going, this is the logic why I shouldn't do this. If you
Right.
take this in your heart and you say, how does that feel? To be able, it's not about to get a new job, it's how does it feel to work in a job that I love?
Hmm. Yeah.
You got to get them to even think that that's a possibility.
Right.
And yeah, and so when they say, that would feel really good. Bingo, there's your
Yeah.
there's
Right.
your answer. That's what all of it's about. And that's what the book is all about. It's about learning to trust your feelings. Don't analyze things. Now, we need our brains. Our brains help us communicate. We do have to logic some things. We need to be able to hold a job so that we have a roof over our head and
Right.
food on our table, right? So we do need our logic. But when it comes to making decisions, it's about going into your heart and connecting with your soul instead of all the things that we've been taught. Because everything in our brain is the shoulds, the can'ts,
Oh yeah.
the has to be. And so that's how you get past those is by going into your heart. And when you're in your heart, when you're connected to your soul, there is no can'ts, there is no should. It's I mean, the answer that the records want to say to everything is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you
It
can.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, you
It,
can.
it's just like your life flows so much
Yes.
better. And
Yes.
it is. It's funny because I've done a lot of like readings and people just and I vice versa again, like of being in like when I first learned about my abilities and learning mediumship or and channeling all that stuff and you tend to be in a lot of practice groups. And so I was getting as many readings as I was giving. And it was to a point where sometimes I just didn't even want to hear it anymore because at first I was like chasing after something like what you were saying about like the example with like you just want God to come down and tell you exactly like this is what you're going to do.
Right.
And when all these messages were coming through to me and it was just like, oh, this again, I already know. But it's like, do I really know because I'm not doing it? Like I'm still
Exactly.
questioning it. I'm still like
Exactly.
I'm thinking like something huge and profound, but really,
Yes.
all it is, it's within us. We already know. We really do
Yes.
already know when we
Yes.
tap in and drop down to our hearts and,
Yes.
stop over analyzing everything for
Well,
sure.
and that key word is allow. The key
Yeah.
word is
Yes.
allow. Allow it to be real. Allow it to be true. Allow yourself to believe it. It's just about opening to a different way of looking at things. And the records are so clear. This is all about choices. So we create our lives by the choices that we make. That's the
Yeah.
good news and the bad news.
Yeah. Yeah.
The bad news is, hey, everybody out there, the life that you're living right now is the one you've created with your
Mhm.
choices.
Yes.
Every bit of it. The
Mhm.
good news is you can change it like that by making different choices. So
Yeah.
it's, again, good news, bad news. And it's scary to think that we're controlling our lives because it's easier to say, well, nothing good happens to me. It's always fun to blame circumstances or other people. And
Yeah.
that's just not true. Now, this doesn't mean we choose everything that happens to us. There is still a world out there. Things happen. People go in and out of your lives. Jobs change. You can't control everything. You
Yeah.
can control how you react to it though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if somebody, somebody that you love chooses to go a different direction, of course that hurts. Of course that hurts. And so you can either look at this and say, this is poor me. I'm never going to find love again and all that. Or you can say, well, clearly this wasn't the right person for me. How about I find someone who loves
Right.
me and isn't going to leave me because they love me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Seems like
Exactly.
a better fit. So
Yeah.
it's kind of simple. I just saw this post by someone that I absolutely love. And it said it was all about changing your life, and it is simple. This is so
Oh,
simple. The
yeah.
book, it's all about how simple it is, but it's not easy. So she wrote simple unequal to easy.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's simple doesn't mean
You're,
it's easy because of all the programming we have.
yeah. You
We've
got to
been taught.
decondition. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So if someone really wants to get started on a new path, the records suggest that they start asking themselves why they believe what they believe.
Oh, that's good. That's
Did
the
I
journey I
hear
took.
it?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So tell us about your journey. How did that work for you?
Yeah, like I didn't even know I was really asking that to myself, but it was. Like I look back on the last few years of my life and really I started asking like why am I doing this? Like why do I still believe this? Like I mean I looked at my religious beliefs and why am I still dragging I don't want to say dragging my
Yeah.
kids to church, that doesn't sound
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah. I know what you
if
mean.
not,
Yep.
if everybody is not, if we don't fully agree with everything that's happening, like why are we still doing this?
Yep.
Why? I mean, even everything from my parenting, we're like, why am I forcing them to put these clothes on that they don't want to
Right.
wear? Like, I mean, it
Right.
was everything. Religion, parenting, the way my marriage was, the my job, my career. I really started questioning everything and starting to look within and ask myself and take everything out of my life of who
Yes.
cares everybody's outside opinions. I don't care.
Yes. Yes.
Megan, why are
Yes.
you doing this? Like, why, do you still believe this? Why, and it was. And once I started doing that, I mean, I created a whole brand new life. Like, I am not even like recognizable to the person
Yes.
I was a few years ago. And I can promise you, I just feel joy, which I think is a
Yes.
feeling that actually we really don't feel often.
Oh,
And I was talking to a friend the other day and she just started crying like during our conversation. She's like, "What? I'm so happy. I don't know why these tears are coming." I'm like, honestly, because I think you honestly are so joyful, like you don't even know how to like accept it. Like your
yes.
body is trying to
Yes.
accept joy because you're finally living a life that you truly like love. Like she was telling me
Yes.
about this new career she's having, how everything's kind of lining up perfectly for her. And it's like, so yeah, it's when we start getting rid of all these old beliefs, and again, it has nothing to do with like against anybody of how we
Uh-uh.
got these
Nope.
beliefs in the first place. It has nothing to do
Nope.
with them. It's not, it's just looking within yourself of what do I choose now? What do I
Right.
want in my life? And oh my gosh, it's a beautiful feeling. It truly is.
Yes. Yes. And it's about not having judgment,
Yes.
not
Yes.
judging yourself for
Yeah.
having those beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's not about judging the people who maybe gave you those beliefs. So let's just
Correct.
talk about parents. Our parents, I want to say 90% of the parents really think they're doing the right thing. We want to instill good work ethic. We want to help you understand how to get a good job, get, ahead in
Yeah.
life. They were just trying to help us. They truly
Yes.
were. And when you start to realize that, first of all, there's more to life than what we've been taught,
Yeah.
school, work, marriage, all of that. No, there's this whole joyful part to it, the magical part. When we start to understand that, the records really have me tell clients, when your parents are trying to maybe slow you down from following your dreams, there's
Yeah.
two reasons. They're afraid for you,
Yes.
because it's like, you can't just give up everything and go move across the country, and because they're
They're
afraid. It's
right.
about
Yeah. Fear.
fear.
Yep.
And the second thing is, and this isn't so much about parents, but when people see you doing something like that, that holds up a mirror to them,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they say, internally, this isn't consciously, there's an internal thing about, ooh, if she could do it, I could do it, and I'm not ready to do that, so I need to stop her from doing it so that I don't have to see her succeed. Does
Oh,
that make
yeah.
sense?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yes.
I think I have people in both categories in my life.
Yes. Yes. And so when that's the thing about when you start on your true journey to
hmm
living your life,
hmm
you have to start to realize you're going to have to maybe have some new boundaries,
Yeah.
and you're probably going to lose some people out of your life for several reasons. First of all, it can be almost unbearable to be around people with low vibration because you can't relate
Oh,
to
yeah.
them anymore. And again, this isn't about judgment. It just doesn't feel good. And so you
Yeah.
lose some people that way, and then you lose some people that are still trying to bring you back down to their level. It's like, no, don't. I liked it better when we could sit around and make fun of people and be mean
Yeah.
and.
That's funny that you say that. Just for I don't go out too much, and it's like I went out like 2 weekends in a row. We had events, and I felt like a fish out of water. Uh, like hearing people's conversations and like making
Mhm.
fun of other people, like that is their
Uh-huh.
conversation. And it was just like, ooh, I haven't heard
Yep.
this in a while. Like this,
Yep.
this is
Yeah.
not resonating with me. Like
Yeah.
this is not vibing with me. I don't
Yep.
like this. It really was like oil and water,
Uh-huh.
and the silly like thought that I thought I was like, people still do this? Like that's
Uh-huh.
and I felt like
Uh-huh.
so naive. I was like, oh gosh, this is still happening. Like people
Yep.
like really just want to tear other people down. Like why?
Yep. 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 Well,
It was
okay, so
crazy.
yeah, so what's happening right now, Megan, and you probably already know this. I don't mean to explain it to you, but there may be people out there
Oh
that
no,
don't
it's fine. Yeah, for
understand,
our audience. Yeah.
yeah, about unity consciousness. That's what
hmm
we're moving into. That's what we're moving toward. So unity consciousness is about understanding that we're all part of the same puzzle, that everything that we do affects the other people. I liken it to all of us being in the same fishbowl. So if I'm spewing out, blech, that's polluting the water in the fishbowl for everybody else, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so that's unity consciousness, is understanding that what we do affects other people, even if it's just energetically. And I don't mean just, but it could be
Yeah.
not literally hurting them. And so the opposite of that is the I ego. So the I ego person is just concerned about themselves. How does this matter to me? Am I getting my share? They have that feeling about a happiness pie, that there is this certain amount of happiness in the world and they have to get theirs so that there's enough for them. And the unity consciousness is, hey, there's happiness for everybody. We don't have to compete for that.
Yeah.
So it's because happiness comes from within, it's not from
hmm
outside. And
Right.
so you'll notice that that's what's happening in the world right now, is we are starting to separate into the people that are still hanging on to the, I got to get my piece of this. We've got all those billionaires that are trying to get more. And, don't get me going on that. And
Yeah.
then there's the people that say, this is more about, I, what the records ask us is there's only one thing they ask us to not do, and that is to hurt someone else intentionally.
Yeah.
Now, do we still hurt each other? Absolutely. I still hurt people because but not intentionally. I can tell you that. But we still,
Yeah.
say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. So it's not about that, but it's about purposely, intentionally hurting someone. They say everything else is fair game. So for people who are raised the way we are, to say it's okay for me to take care of myself blows their mind. So it's this really fine line of, in unity consciousness, it's your responsibility to keep yourself happy. So if that
Yeah.
means maybe limiting the amount of time that you spend with certain people, that's okay. We're not rude to them, we're not judging them. But if
Right.
you're around someone that makes you feel badly,
Yeah.
why do you want to be around them?
Exactly.
So it's okay to say, okay, I'm not going to cut her completely out of my life, but geez, I can only take an hour a week. That's, because you come away just feeling ugh, right? So it's okay to take care of yourself. If you have someone in your life, and my gosh, I'm sorry to all the mothers out there, but there's so many mothers that are just telling people what to do all the time. It's okay to, you just listen to your mom and say, okay, thanks, mom, because they're doing it out of love. I really do believe they're doing it out
Yeah.
of love. They think they're doing the best thing. And you just say, okay, thank you. I'm so glad you love me. And then you do
Yeah.
what you're going to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you can't change your mom. You
Right.
can't change any person. You can't.
Exactly. As
You
yeah.
can't. So you just have to say, and it really helps when you think of it as they really are just trying to help me. That
Oh yeah.
they think they know what's best for me. And so just say, okay, they love me enough to care. Thank you for caring. And it's never a but. And I'm still going to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's about choosing who you relate to, how you relate to them. And, and again, it's okay if people are telling you what to do. Thanks. Not going to do it though, right?
Oh right.
So it's that again, it's simple, but not easy because I don't know about you, but I was taught you be nice to everyone. You include everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone in your class has to come to the party.
Yeah.
You can't treat anybody differently. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I can. If I don't like someone, I don't have to be around them. And
Oh
I
yeah.
remember I was probably in my late 20s before, I swear, I had this of, oh my gosh, I don't have to be around that person if I don't want to. Just because I'd been friends, since we were kids, doesn't mean she fits in my life anymore. And
Yeah.
again, it's
And
not judgment. It's like it just isn't a fit. I've outgrown her. Okay.
oh,
So,
exactly. And I
yeah.
think, yeah, give yourself permission that
Yes.
like it is
Yes.
okay. Like you are not a bad person. Like you are not a
Yes.
bad person. We are all in each other's lives for any given like season. It could be,
Yes.
years, it could be our lifetime. It could just be one season and it is
Mhm.
okay. And I think some people feel like they need like an excuse or like have to have a bad breakup
Yep.
or,
Yep.
something really terrible. And it's like, no, it doesn't like you can actually stop it before it gets to that point. Like, don't let it go
Yes.
down to that, path of where it has to explode. Like, if you're
Right.
not vibing, it is
Right.
okay. Like, it is you could still be, cordial and
Yes.
friendly and,
Yes.
in passing, but
Yes.
yeah, we don't have to have like a excuse, if it's just
Yes.
like this feeling that you're getting, you're just like, no.
Yes, yes. And it's funny because I've noticed as I get older, my nose is itching so much right now. I
Oh,
apologize, everyone, but that's
oh,
energy moving for me. It's like stuff's happening.
yeah,
My
yeah.
nose is itching. Um, I've noticed that I'm starting to be around people. I am an extreme introvert, which means I recharge by not being around people. When I'm
Mhm.
around a lot of people, I have to go back into my cave and recharge because that
Yeah.
takes a lot of energy out of me. And I'm finding people in my life that don't exhaust me. And that is
Yeah,
so exciting.
it
It's
is.
like,
It's amazing.
yes, I'm not exhausted after spending the day with them. Where with some people, I just, oh God, I have to go to bed for a week.
Fill your tank up again. Yeah, you're just like, "Ah."
Exactly. Exactly. So one of the things that I've heard someone say is it's okay. The records use the term selfish, and this where I kind of interpret it for other people is to say self-full, because we're taught selfish is bad. And
Right.
it's gonna,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that struggle with being selfish,
Oh, yeah.
which is kind of, I mean, that's kind of good because we don't want to be selfish. We want to share our toys, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to be self-full, though.
Yeah.
It's okay to pay attention to what brings me joy, what makes me happy, what people do I feel better. I mean, I'm actually around people that invigorate me instead
Yeah.
of exhaust me, and that's
Yes.
that's a win, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what you pay attention to. And I feel like you kind of went through the same thing that I did. I can't remember how long ago it was, but someone asked me what brings you joy, and I stopped and I thought, and of course, buying new clothes, the human
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And they said, no, what brings you joy? And it took me years to reconnect with that part of myself because I
Yeah.
didn't know.
I think there's a lot of people out there
Uh-huh.
that don't realize that they actually don't know what joy feels like. It
Yep.
is such a high vibration to hold.
Yes, it is.
Well, at least it was for me.
Yes.
I did not realize I was not used to it. When I feel like I first felt it, I was like,
Yes.
What? What is
Yes.
this?"
Yes. Because it's an expansion of everything good. I mean, to
Yeah.
feel that is, yeah, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So, what the records really suggest to help us find our way back to joy, and this is what helped for me, just sharing one woman's way that, I did it. I started noticing the magic on
Mhm.
earth and in
Yeah.
life. So, those of you that notice the 111 on the clock, or you see a certain color all the time. For me, it's a lot of animals. I have a bird feeder out in my backyard. When those cardinals come, I
Oh, yeah.
just think those are God birds. I just
Yep.
say thank you. Yes. And hawks, I love
Oh, yeah.
hawks.
Yeah.
And I see cranes fly by in the summer, or
Yeah.
herons, and that's just, that's I kind of know that's the magic of the earth. That's my guides winking at me and saying, yeah, here we're giving you a little treat. And
Yeah.
I remember probably 3 years ago, I saw a caterpillar for the first time since I was a kid. Do you remember as a kid, we see them because we're taught
Yeah.
that in science class and you watch them build the chrysalis and all that. I
Yeah.
hadn't seen a caterpillar. It had to be in 40 years. And
Yeah.
so I just felt like a little kid again. Oh, look, it's a caterpillar. So just little
I
stuff like that.
It is actually, it's funny. We have a bird's nest on our front porch, and we have these five little baby. There's like little blue eggs, and
Oh,
every day we're like trying to like peek without scaring the mom.
yep,
and,
yep,
and we have like a countdown. We were trying to, me and my kids and husband were like voting on when we think that they're gonna hatch, and it is like it's like the simplest
yes,
thing,
yes,
and it is bringing our whole family, like, together and joy and the excitement
yes,
in the house, and, "Oh, can I peek today to see
yes.
if they've hatched?" And it really is just the wonder, like, these
Mhm.
same things were happening around us forever, but
Uh-huh.
I never bothered to pay attention. Yeah, you have your blinders on, you're
Yeah.
not living in the present moment. You're just so worried about what's going on next thing. Oh, yeah, I'm so
Yep.
stressed out. And this is, and it's like when you just, oh, I catch myself all the time. I look out my tree. It's just like a tree, but it reminds me of the tree of life, and I could just
Yes.
stare at that thing. It's
Yes.
like it's the same tree, that's been there since we moved in, but it is just, it brings me so much joy just to see all.
Yes. And have you hugged it yet, Megan?
You know what? That's funny. I actually have not. I've not hugged this tree, but me and my kids when we go on hikes, we'll hug trees. They
Yes.
they love climbing trees and they
Yep.
always tell the
Yep.
tree thank you for letting me climb
Yep.
you, and they always
Yep.
give it a hug before they like jump out of it. It's really cute.
Yep. I love it. Trees
Yeah.
are so wise. The energy of trees is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and for me, gosh, it's been a couple years now. I went up to Iceland to see the Northern Lights,
Oh
and
wow.
you haven't.
I gotta go.
If you got to believe, I mean, if that's not magic, I don't know what. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just the most amazing thing. So, but people never even talk about that half the time. I feel
Right.
like people are starting to open up though. Maybe it's just because
Yeah.
I'm open to them. I'm noticing people talking about it more. But I think people are starting to understand the magic. And
Yeah.
that's what the records are so about too, is you're only going to be here no matter what your beliefs are. You
Hmm.
can be an agnostic, you can be an atheist, you can be a Wiccan, it doesn't matter what you believe. You can
Yeah.
believe in reincarnation. You're only going to be here in this lifetime as you are now, you, with the circumstances that are happening once, right?
Yeah.
Even if you come back 100 times to Earth, you're never going to be Megan in
Yeah.
2026 with the children that you have and the husband that you have.
Yeah.
So, are you making the most of this? Because you're
Right.
never going to get to do it again.
Yeah.
And so they really suggest to people, what are you going to miss when you're gone? It's not going to be work.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to
I was
be
gonna say it's
that,
gonna be my work now because I get so much
that
joy
work.
doing, like I was
Yeah.
just gonna say,
Yeah.
like switching careers, doing, my
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Like that is truly it. My kids are like, wow, why are you smiling so big after you get off a call, Mom? I'm like, what were you doing in there?
Yes.
I'm just
Yes.
like, I was helping someone, or I was
Yes.
gonna hear someone's story. Like I'm just so happy.
Yes, yes. And it's that's the way to approach life
Yeah.
is what am I going to miss? So that's what I want to do more of, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. I was in a session with a client and I love how things get revealed a little bit at a time. They can't just download us with everything.
Yeah.
So I had this understanding that our soul is our hedonistic part. And in a most loving way, our
Yeah.
soul wants to eat the chocolate, travel, have these adventures, experience things, right?
Yeah.
And then our human is all concerned with but I got to earn a job and I'm going to do this. And so it's about creating this partnership where your soul doesn't run the show because you do need food. I mean, that's just a basic need. But then you
Yeah.
also don't want your human to keep saying no to your soul. So when you
Yeah.
have this urge for an adventure, that's coming from
Mhm.
your soul. And your
Yeah.
human, the first thing we do is say, no, we can't do that. We don't have enough money, da 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 da, right? And
Yeah.
then so that's how you create this partnership about I keep getting this urge to go to Iceland. I really want to see the Northern Lights. I really want to go to Iceland. So your
Yeah.
human is the part, that's where the logic is worth something, of figuring out a way to make that happen, figuring out. And so it's this, we all have a partnership with our souls. Some are
Hmm.
healthy, some are not.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of the thing that we're doing in this lifetime is figuring out a way to create this healthy partnership with our souls and our human brains
Yeah.
because that we can have the adventure that our soul came for and still be somewhat responsible. Not all of us have to be responsible though. There's some
Yeah.
people that are out there just having a ball and they don't care how much clothes they have or where their next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
I think that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information. One question I was curious on, like, how did it happen for you, like, to learn about all this?
About the records,
Yeah, the records. Like,
I
Did you have like a
have
download one day, or like were you
no,
always
no,
spiritual, or like
no, 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 no. I was not at all. I have to say that even when I was young, I had to go to church all the time, like your kids. I'm
yeah,
teasing you.
yeah.
And I thought, this just doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah,
Um, and so I started kind of questioning religion even when I was young. You know what really tripped my alert
yeah,
was even when I was in grade school, we as kids would go, we'll go to your church this Sunday and you come to my church next Sunday.
yeah.
And I figured out somehow that Catholics, it was a sin to have a thought. Like certain thoughts were a sin. And I thought, how can that be? Because we don't control our thoughts. We control what we do with that thought. This is even as a kid,
Yeah.
but the thought itself, I don't think is a sin. So isn't that amazing that that kind of,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
figured that out. Is like, yeah, I'm not buying that.
yeah.
And then, so a dear friend of mine moved into the neighborhood in third grade. Her name was Nancy Ring. And I just knew immediately she was wise. She was the one that I talked to about stuff I couldn't talk to my parents about. She
Yeah.
just, I don't even know. I just recognized it in her. So we were great friends through high school, lost touch after high school, but our dads stayed friends.
Mhm.
And so in 2000, the year 2000, I moved to Indianapolis and she was traveling to Indianapolis to do some training for the work she was doing. And so our dad said, "Hey, you're both in Indy, you should get back together." So this is, we graduated in 75, so this was a long time. Picked right back up the first dinner that we had.
Yeah.
And so it was fantastic. So then she was the one who knew about the Akashic Records. And so she would kind of, I use this with clients all the time about throwing a pebble. You kind of throw something out there and see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Like you would say to somebody, "Do you believe in
Yeah.
reincarnation?"
And then you
Just
like
to see what
retrieve
they
real
would.
fast if they're
Exactly,
not feeling
exactly.
it.
So she started throwing out pebbles about spirituality, and I was just listening and loving it. And yeah, so she's the one who taught me about the Akashic Records.
Oh, cool.
And so then, I took my first class on how to open them. And then in a couple years, she taught me how to open the records of other people. And I did this all because I wanted to work with animals. I took a canine massage class. I was going to work with animals, trying to help them have a better life with their owners, or not companions, whatever you want to call them. That was the way the records got me there, because I didn't
Yeah.
want anything to do with working with people. Well,
Yeah.
when you finish the class of opening the records of others, you ask the records, how many practice sessions do I need to do before I can start doing this, you know, with real clients to make money? My number was 30.
Mm.
I had to do 30 practice sessions before I could start working with the animals.
Yeah.
And so during those 30 sessions, I fell in love with it. I
Oh.
just was, oh, it was just,
Yeah.
oh, I love this.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to doing this. And then the book came about. I was walking my dog one Sunday, and when I connect with the records, I more know.
Yeah.
It's like just have this idea. I don't hear. Some people hear, but I heard them starting to talk. I
Oh.
heard them say, as I'm walking my dog, imagine a world of possibilities where everything is possible and the answer to everything is yes. And I'm like,
Wow. You're like, who? God?
exactly. So I come home and I start writing, and it was just like, that's how the book started.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna ask you. So is it like an automatic writing type situation where you're just like
mhm.
channeling like writing?
Uh-huh. Yep. And so I just started writing, and sometimes I would get information, sometimes I wouldn't.
Hmm.
And the thing that was kind of interesting was I started it 1 year and wrote for a little bit, had no idea what it was even about. I was just writing what they shared with me.
Yeah.
And then it kind of stopped.
Hmm.
And then maybe a year later, it started again. I started getting information. So I started writing again. And I noticed the second time that I could tell there was a voice to it. They would say, imagine, if you will, a world of possibilities. They would always use the term if you, not always, but quite
Yeah.
often use the term if you will.
Hmm.
And I started noticing that the second time around, that was coming through a lot. And which again is something I would never use that
Yeah, that's
term.
how you
So
know.
that's how
You're like,
you
I'm not
know
imagining
yeah,
this.
it's
I would
not
never
me.
just say those words. Yeah.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And so when I got done writing what I thought was done with this part, I went back and looked at that first stuff I had written the year before, and if you will was in there too. I
Oh,
just hadn't noticed it. And
wow.
so I was like, yay, I mean, it all fits.
Yeah.
So after the book was done, I sent it to Nancy's dear friend. Nancy has passed. She passed several years ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
she hasn't been able, yeah, but she's helping me from the other side.
Yeah.
So I sent the book to another one of our Akashic friends that used to teach classes with Nancy. Her name is Deborah. And I sent it to her and she sent back, she said, do you know that that's what Nancy used to say all the time when we were teaching was, if
Oh,
you
I'm getting my
will.
chills. Oh, I can I can feel her.
So
Oh,
I know Nancy was helping.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That's
I know.
beautiful.
When I heard that, I just teared up and I thought, oh my gosh. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I just want to share with everyone, and you at View Channel, you understand this. I'm not special. I just listened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I
really just like
just
accepting
listened.
the calling kind of, or just
Exactly.
being like, okay, okay, let's go see where this
Exactly.
goes.
Yes. Yes. That's all it is. So you
Yeah.
don't have to be, and I talk about that in the book. I say, you don't have to be Master Usui who brought the Reiki down from the mountain. Well,
Yeah.
it's because he listened. There wasn't
Yes.
anything, not to take anything away from him, but he
Yeah. Yeah.
listened. That's all it
Wow.
is. So
Yeah.
be open when you get those nudges. Be
Yes.
open.
Yes.
So I'm just going to say this if anyone's interested, okay? It's
Yeah. Tell
called
us
the
where they can
Akashic.
find it.
Yep,
Hmm.
the Akashic Records speak. Yes, there is more to life. So it talks about the fact that we only need 33% of the world to get into unity consciousness to have an effect, right? It doesn't have to be 50%. We can tip it with 33%. All right.
Wow.
33% light workers.
I feel
It
more
talks about
hopeful.
exactly. It talks about releasing the shoulds and the can'ts and how to make different choices in your life and manifesting, bringing in what you really want. And
Yeah.
then the third message is please enjoy this life. You're missing the magic. Wake up,
Yeah.
enjoy this. So you can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, any of the major booksellers carry it. And if you need any more information or forget, my website is janiemac.com. So it's real simple, JANIEMAC.com.
And you offer courses to teach this, right?
Absolutely. I offer sessions there. The book's actually for sale there, but then you have to pay shipping. So it's probably cheaper just to get it from Amazon. But if you order it from me, I'll sign it for you. So,
Oh, nice. Thank you.
yep.
So do
Yep.
you offer like just readings too and
Mm-hmm.
teaching?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Nice.
Yes, yes. And I really, I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, but if we could get 4 or 5 people together that want a class, I will come to wherever you are to teach it. I just love, this is like, without disrespect, a toy that I want to share with everybody. I think everyone needs to be working with their records. You guys,
Yeah,
it's there.
definitely.
So if anyone ever wants to have a class, I will travel to do a class. That's probably my favorite thing in the whole world to do is teach other people how to open their records.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm excited. I'm gonna set a meditation tonight and I'm gonna set the
Love it.
intention and see what comes through. And if not, I'm
Love
gonna be
it.
calling you.
Love it.
Scheduling a class.
Love it. Well, and thank you so much for the opportunity. As you can tell, Megan, I love talking about the records.
Yes, and
So,
I love hearing about it. What brings me joy also when we were talking about it is I love hearing what people are passionate about. Like it radiates off of them and you could feel it, and it just gets you excited, and then you want to dive into it as well because they bring that joy. So thank you for sharing it. I really appreciate it, Janie. And
Well, and
everybody
thanks
can
for having
go
your
to the website.
podcast.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having your podcast to get it out to people.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for listening. If something resonated, follow along and share this with someone who needs a new perspective. The views shared are personal to each guest and are simply their own, and these conversations are not a substitute for a medical or professional advice. Thank you for tuning in.